So when we think about climate change, the sheer scale of it can feel pretty overwhelming.
Right, it really can.
But what truly fascinated me in these sources was this idea that artists, architects, and innovators aren't just reacting. They're, actively transforming our cities, not just to cut emissions, which is crucial, obviously, but to adapt creatively to a world that's already changed.
That's such a powerful shift, isn't it? It's no longer solely about mitigating our impact, but about building genuine resilience.
Right.
And I think importantly, finding creative opportunities within these new climatic realities.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you look at the record temperatures in 2024, it just underscores how urgent this reimagining of our urban spaces has become.
Absolutely. So today we're taking a deep dive into some truly fascinating sources. We've got cutting-edge scientific research, insights from the upcoming Venice Architecture Biennale 2025.
A real mix.
Exactly. And our mission really is to explore how these diverse fields are coming together, converging to create what one expert actually calls climate infrastructure and climate sculpture.
Climate sculpture, I like that. It suggests something more than just function.
It does. It implies this isn't just about building stronger. It's about seeing our urban spaces as living, responsive art almost, designed to actively interact with and maybe even harness natural processes.
Renegotiating things.
Yeah, get ready to see how nature, technology, and society are being, well, fundamentally renegotiated. It's quite something.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, so Carlo Ratti, he's the curator of the Venice Architecture Biennale 2025. He really encapsulates this shift. He says, architecture must not only strive to reduce emissions, it must actively adapt to a changed world.
That quote really nails it.
It feels like the core idea, doesn't it? Everything we're looking at today seems to circle back to that.
It does. And, that statement raises a critical question. How exactly are we seeing this adaptation unfold, like on the ground?
Right, practically speaking.
Yeah. And the sources, they clearly highlight three key levels of response. It seems to be through, ingenious artistic interventions, breakthroughs in technological innovation, and this powerful, almost Renaissance-like return to urban greening.
A renaissance.
Yeah, it feels like that. And it's not just about individual buildings anymore. It's about rethinking entire urban ecosystems.
Okay, building on that ecosystem idea, let's turn our attention to what the sources call the renaissance of urban greening. That phrase really caught my eye.
Mine too.
It turns out they say urban green is the central climate control of the 21st century. That's a pretty bold claim.
It is bold, but when you dig into it, the sources really back it up. If we consider the broader implications, it's about seeing nature not just as, an aesthetic bonus.
Like a nice park.
Exactly. Not just an amenity, but as a critical, functional piece of infrastructure. Think about those historical patios Cordobas in Spain, designed for cooling.
Ah, right, with the courtyards and plants.
Precisely. Well, today we're seeing modern versions, roof gardens, facade forests. They function as living space extensions, but also these crucial friction zones.
Friction zones. Explain that a bit.
They're points of dynamic interaction and adaptation, places where nature, technology, and society kind of rub up against each other and get renegotiated.
Interesting. And the tangible results, the actual effects of this greening, they're really striking. I was quite surprised to learn, for instance, that a single street tree, get this, can reduce local temperatures by up to 3 degrees Celsius.
That's significant.
And increase air humidity by 10% just through evaporative cooling. Places like Erfurt in Germany, they're meticulously documenting how biodiversity and cooling are directly linked in these heat-sensitive green spaces.
And the benefits go way beyond just cooling, too. Unsealed surfaces, riparian forests, that's forests along riverbanks, like those in Berlin's Spreewald project, they can absorb up to 90% more rainwater. That's absolutely vital for flood prevention.
90%. Wow.
Yeah. In fact, the German Environment Agency strongly highlights this. Green spaces make cities livable and offer flood protection. It's fundamental.
So cities are actively doing this.
Oh, yes. We see cities like Karlsruhe diligently protecting existing fresh air corridors, while Munich is actually creating new ones through things like green railway tracks.
There'd be railway tracks.
Yeah, and then you add green facades and courtyards with fountains, and they just amplify these positive effects. It's a whole system.
So nature provides this foundational wisdom, maybe? But what about the cutting-edge tools? Because beyond just greening, technology is clearly playing a massive transformative role here.
Absolutely.
The Biennale's motto, intelligence is natural, artificial, collective,
Hmm.
really hints at this powerful fusion, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And a truly remarkable aspect is how this natural intelligence is being mimicked in new materials. It's fascinating.
Mimicked. How so?
Well, researchers like Karen Scrivener at ETH Zurich, they're developing construction materials that actually imitate natural cycles, using things like banana fibers for insulation.
Banana fibers.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Seriously. Or even self-repairing bioconcrete, a material designed to heal itself, like skin.
That sounds like science fiction.
It kind of does, but it drastically reduces the CO2 footprint of the entire construction industry. It's a huge deal.
And then there's the sheer power of AI, artificial intelligence. The MIT Sensible City Lab, for instance, uses real-time data to model heat islands.
Right, mapping the hotspots.
Exactly. And these digital twins, these virtual data-rich models of real cities, like the ones they showed in the stress pavilion.
Which demonstrates advanced urban modeling, yeah.
They can predict overheating risks and actually optimize where green spaces should go. It's almost like having a living blueprint for a healthier city.
A predictive blueprint, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're also witnessing robotics in action. Hiroshi Ishiguro's contribution to the Biennale, it impressively demonstrates robots crushing construction waste and then recycling it into 3D printing material.
So, closing the loop.
Precisely. This circular approach isn't just efficient, it fundamentally cuts resource consumption by about 40%. It's rethinking how we build from the ground up.
Okay, we've seen how technology is transforming materials in urban planning. It's sort of a micro level. But how do these cutting-edge innovations scale up? How do they help address large-scale challenges like, the increasing frequency of extreme weather events?
That's a key question. And Copenhagen's cloudburst management plan is a really prime example of scaling up this green-blue infrastructure.
Green-blue.
Yeah, combining vegetation and water management. It's designed to absorb heavy rainfall. So instead of just traditional concrete channels and pipes.
The gray infrastructure.
Exactly, the gray stuff. We're seeing unsealed surfaces, green roofs, which, by the way, can provide up to 8 degrees Celsius of cooling.
8 degrees, that's huge.
It is. And retention basins, all replacing or supplementing the traditional gray infrastructure. It's a much more systemic approach, leveraging natural processes at a citywide scale.
Okay, so we have the greening, the tech. But while all that innovation and strategic planning lays crucial groundwork, true climate adaptation also seems to require engagement on a deeply human scale.
Absolutely essential.
And this is where artists and community step in, right?
Yeah.
Bringing these sometimes abstract concepts to life in tangible, relatable ways.
Yes, and this brings us to a vital question. How do we make these complex issues tangible and actionable for everyone? Get people involved.
Yeah.
Collective intelligence or social innovation is absolutely key here. Basically, the collective wisdom and actions of communities become central to solving these challenges.
The bottom-up solutions.
Very much so. We see examples like the Vienna Social Housing's dialogue with informal settlement practices in Rome's Agency for Better Living Pavilion.
Okay, what does that look like?
Well, things like community gardens in favelas or water-sensitive courtyard designs developed by residents. These become models for participatory climate adaptation that are truly community-driven. It's learning from how people are already adapting.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And on the purely artistic side, there are some incredible examples that really make a statement. The Jirak Collective in Karlsruhe, for instance. They transform everyday waste materials into high fashion through their Kleidern Recycling Upcycle Rethinking exhibition.
Right, I read about that.
They use these opulent robes made entirely from waste materials as this powerful aesthetic statement against fast fashion. It's art with a very clear message.
It forces you to see waste differently. And then there's the Kit Climate Monster project from Parents for Future AV.
Ah, yes, for kids.
Exactly. It uses creative formats and what they call new narratives to teach children about climate protection playfully, rather than with heavy moral appeals, making it engaging, not scary.
That's smart.
And other artists like Svetlana Deneva and Sabine Schaefer, they're pushing boundaries by integrating actual biodiversity data into installations.
Data into art.
They visualize abstract connections like insect extinction and warming trends in a way you can actually perceive, maybe through sound or visuals. It's about translating dense scientific data into profound sensory experiences.
Making the invisible visible.
Precisely.
So given all these different angles, the greening, the tech, the art, the community action, what's the critical takeaway? What did the sources say about how these different disciplines need to work together for climate adaptation to, really succeed?
Well, the sources are pretty unequivocal on this. Climate adaptation only truly succeeds through transdisciplinary working groups. It's not enough for disciplines to work in silos.
Transdisciplinary, meaning across and beyond traditional fields.
Exactly. They emphasize that artists, specifically collaborating with architects and scientists, are uniquely positioned to translate complex scientific data into these impactful sensory experiences we just talked about.
Connecting the dots for people.
Yes. It's about connecting the unconnected, really.
Yeah.
This idea is captured nicely in the Leonardo Welton concept mentioned in one source, seeing it as a synthesis of art and science.
Oh, Leonardo, like Da Vinci.
That's the inspiration, yeah.
Yeah.
Defining a cultural response to climate change, not as something purely defensive, but as a truly creative evolution.
Creative evolution. I like that framing. So wrapping up, you've heard how urban greening, cutting-edge technology, and these really powerful artistic and social innovations are converging. They're tackling climate change not just by reducing emissions, but by actively, creatively shaping our world for a different future. It's honestly quite inspiring to see how knowledge is being applied in such diverse and remarkably creative ways.
It really is. And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, it just underscores this profound idea that the most impactful solutions, the real breakthroughs, they often emerge when we transcend those traditional boundaries.
Break down the silos.
Exactly. The most significant changes often come from unexpected collaborations, turning what might seem like totally separate fields into, well, a unified front for progress.
So, a final thought for you listening. What stands out to you from today's deep dive? As we all think more about adapting to a changing climate, what unconnected ideas or disciplines might you bring together? Maybe in your own thinking or perhaps even in your own community to foster that kind of truly creative evolution we've been talking about.